What's up guys, my name is Ben Griffin and I'm here to drive one of Jaguar's biggest cats, the XJ575. Until now, the Jaguar XJR luxury saloon was the creme de la creme of the XJ range. But the 2018 model year update brings with it something altogether more potent, and its name gives you an exact indication of just how potent. Jaguar's 5-litre supercharged V8 has been given a 25 brake horsepower power increase, taking the grand total to 567. Suffice to say, the XJ575 is scarily fast. Think 0 to 62 in 4.4 seconds and a top speed of 186 miles per hour. Underneath the XJ575 is the standard XJ, but you get a few unique extras to tell it apart, including XJ575 badging and twin bonnet louvres. You also get 2 bespoke paint job options, Velocity Blue, as seen here, and Satin Chorus Grey. Then there's the body, which features a tailored rear spoiler, side sills, front bumper and lower air intakes with glossback surrounds, and 20-inch glossback wheels with red brake calipers. The inside is more special than any other XJ2 thanks to yet more 575 branding, bespoke embossed tread plates and what Jaguar calls 575 intaglio and diamond quilting. That is, if you go for the jet on jet or ivory on jet colour option. Now you can have the XJ575 in 2 versions, the standard length, which is 5,130mm long, and a long wheelbase for those who want extra legroom, which is another 125mm. The good news is that there's no penalty for wanting more space for your pins in terms of CO2, fuel economy and performance, and to be honest, it's really only the stretch rear doors that give the game away if you're worried about aesthetics. Neither version is dainty of course, but does that mean it's a bit like steering the Titanic? Now I think with the XJ575 you have to remember that this is quite a big car. I mean, it's not the L version, long wheelbase, but it's a long, quite heavy, quite luxurious machine, and so attaching a very large engine to it means it's going to be very fast, but it's not going to be necessarily that elegant. Let's be honest though, if anything's going to make a car move fast, it's a 5-litre V8 that's been supercharged and tuned even more than the old XJ. And as you can now hear, it is just brutal, absolutely brutal, this thing. This particular engine has been used in various Jaguars and Land Rovers, and it's always a pleasure. The fact it kicks out 517 foot-pounds of torque from 3,500 RPM means it can gain speed lazily, but at the same time later gear changes are rewarded with truly astonishing pace. Now the steering is actually surprisingly direct. A lot of these big sort of cruisers, certainly your Germanic rivals, they're not always brilliant in the feeling department. But this thing, you can feel exactly what it's doing. It's just a very predictable car. It certainly feels a lot lighter than it actually is, which is quite amazing, really. Just how remarkable are we talking? Well, the XJ575 weighs 1,875 kilograms, or an extra 10 kilograms for the stretch version. Of course, on the flip side, being quite a large luxury barge means that it's incredibly comfortable. It's very quiet in here, as you can hear now. It's just a slight grumble of that V8, but that's it, which makes it brilliant for being stuck in traffic or being on a motorway. It doesn't have to be scary and leery all of the time. But then why would you buy a 575 if you wanted things to be serene? And I have to say, the gears, another strong point, just changing fairly imperceptibly, fast enough to react when you want it to. Maybe not the best on the planet, but at the same time, it's good enough. The gearbox is of the ZF 8-speed automatic variety, which you can control using paddles behind the steering wheel. Do so and the involvement increases, but then the aggressive rev-happy sport mode is snappy enough for fast driving. What really surprises you with the XJ575 is that it's remarkably agile given its proportions, and the level of grip is such that you can get away with utilising a lot of that V8 power. And that's without being the world's best driver. It's predictable, dependable, and actually quite hard to make it go sideways in the dry without either having an airfield or a death wish. Jaguar has always been a badge that indicates you have more cash to spare than most people, but the interiors in recent years are less posh than they should be. Thankfully, the XJ575 does things very differently. Now, the interior largely similar to what you get in the F-Pace and the XF, but in here it's just been dialed up a notch in terms of luxury and sportiness. You've got brilliant speakers, very fancy materials. In terms of comfort, there's definitely a sort of firmness to the seats, but at the same time they hold you in nicely. It is probably what you want in this car. You've bought the sporty version, so you want it to feel that little bit sportier, but also, again, sitting on motorways, you don't want to get out the car with spina bifida, do you really? There's a firmness to the ride too, which results in the ability to feel every little road imperfection beneath the XJ575's gigantic tyres. But the double wishbone suspension setup at the front and rear manages to avoid being too unforgiving, and that's even if you hit a bump mid-corner. Now, I guess you could ask yourself, what is the point in buying the XJ575? I have to say, there's just something wonderful about cars that give you a kind of a dual personality, one of them being the R8, of course the RS7, and this. They're just docile 1 minute and so comfortable, and yet the next it can be a fire-breathing, utterly terrifying monster that you really do need to treat with a lot of respect, because if you don't, it's gonna bite pretty hard. This is in its own kind of luxury, limousine-esque niche, but I think that's nice. I think the world needs these kind of cars. They don't have to make them. I'm not sure it's going to sell in big numbers, but it's nice you have the option. And there really is something special about a supercharged V8 chauffeur-mobile. For the rich petrolhead businessman who wants to get between meetings as fast as possible, the XJ575 is about as good as it gets.